About polo man, just over to the stove. It's like really strong. It's all about love, navigating life with you, building in happiness, sharing those dreams for two. Heart to heart, things that need to be. You get me, I get you. Being as one, and it's just us two. Sharing special moment in the light we shine, and I'm glad you're mine. I have an idea. Let's sit back and listen to Dr. Gia. Hello, hello. Welcome to Heart to Heart. I'm your host, Pastor Gia Clinton, and we are live. um, welcome to tonight's show. Very special guest will be Mr. JT the Genius. Can't wait till he arrives. He is on his way. So, JT has done a lot in production and film, and he's done a lot. He's written a children's series, and he features it on YouTube. It's called Pages. Very, very talented. He's gotten into the design industry where he's designing a clothing line. So it is very, very, very nice to have him here. He's also working on a series on Tubi, and it is called Look Up. So that is pretty awesome. Like somebody that just does all that, right? It's nothing but create. He does the Michael Jackson experience, and that is something that is remarkable. I haven't seen the series yet, but I'm hearing that it's been going on for a while, and one of my classmates started this. His name is Darren Ross, and he is the producer of the Michael Jackson experience. And so it's exciting to be among artists and talk to them. And so yours truly got to be featured on his TV show, The Hookup. We're recording actually season 2. So it is a really neat experience, and Pastor G is really having a great time with that. And they always have trouble getting in, right? Getting into the studio. So let me see what he's asking a question. So he's also having trouble getting in the studio. All right, let me see. Asking him if he's able to get in. Let me call him. All right. So we've been through this before, guys. We usually have to call our guest and get them in here. Because they always seem to have a little bit of difficulty logging in. And I'm not sure why that is. Why, some guests have. I knew even Steve, who reoccurs a lot or frequently reoccurred, he also has difficulty. And it is interesting that that this is the case. So we're going to be a little patient, and let's see. Because tonight's topic is really about loving through tragedy. So we're going to be talking about that. When we talk about tragedy, we're talking about a couple things. Tragedy strikes when a child dies, or you lose a baby, or you lose a job, or your house down, or you lose a parent, or and you as a couple have to really navigate through that. So the question with that kind of tragedy is how do we navigate through it? How do we get through that as a couple and still maintain our relationship? It's very difficult when you're both going through something at the same time to support one another. I think that's one of the hardest things a couple could experience. And when you're going through that, it makes it really difficult to to comfort each other. How can you be a comfort to someone when you are experiencing something so horrible yourself? You're not hey, JT. Okay, yeah, I was explaining to the audience, we've been through this before. Are you in the back room? I think that's what they call it. Are you did Okay, but did you find the link? Okay. So I'm gonna, while you're trying to get in there, I was gonna put you on speaker so you can say hi to the audience. We're used to this. We're used to people having difficulty. This is a rite of passage.
That's funny. Well, hello, everybody. Nice to join you tonight. Sorry I'm not on the StreamYard yet, but I'm getting here.
We go through this with every guest. I don't know why it's so hard, but everybody does seem to have a hard time getting in. And we were talking about, JT, while you're working through that, we were talking about loving each other through tragedy, like a loss of a child or a loss of a loved one, a parent dies, or your house burns down, or it's kind of hard to be on the same team when you're experiencing the same kind of hurt at the same time, because the two really do become one flesh. And it is hard to kind of navigate through that. It really is. And when you think about it, there's no easy way to work through that difficulty. And I believe it does take God to bring you through it, but it's going to also take an understanding, or having a sick child, is hard. It's hard on a marriage, or a spouse having an addiction that's discovered, or a spouse having mental illness is also very difficult. Maybe not as difficult for someone like me because I'm a therapist, but but I imagine for the average person that's not astute with psychosis, it'll be a little difficult. And it doesn't make you an awful person if you can't cope with that. It really doesn't. It just means that, because it is difficult. When you have a spouse that suffers from mental illness, like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or, depression, you got to be discerning enough to understand this person. When they're down, they're very down, especially like somebody who suffers from like manic depression. When they're down, they're very down. When they're up, they're very up. And so you've got to be able to navigate that. And that is not easy to do. That is not easy to do. I can't believe my mic was off. Boy, the devil is something. So one of the things you have to understand, that when you're dealing with that kind of thing, it's going to take the Lord. It's going to take understanding on both parts. When you lose a child, the woman is going to, the one that's carrying the child, the mother, she's going to experience a heavy loss because she feels the baby. You understand the idea of the child. You understand what you're losing because it is your child, that she's carrying, and now it's gone, or if a child, sudden infant death syndrome, the whole SIDS thing, when the child dies in the crib, or, you want to blame each other, or, it's stillborn when it's born, those things will send someone in a state of depression where you can't get out of bed. You can't talk about things. Emotions, when they go on overload, it's hard, but we got to be able to love each other when it's hard, not just when it's easy. Anybody can love when it's easy. The Bible says a friend loveth at all times. So if God expects a friend to love at all times, how much more does he expect a spouse to love, a partner to love?
That's 100% correct. I agree with that 100%. Like during those times when you're supposed to grow closer together, but people normally let that allow them to push them apart.
Yes.
Which is that no, that's not right. Because the good times and bad times you take their vow.
Yeah, I remember Luther Vandross sang this song, I'd rather have the one that holds my heart. He said, I'd rather have bad times with you than good times with someone else. I'd rather be beside you in a storm than safe and warm by myself. I'd rather have hard times together than to have it easy apart. I'd rather have the one who holds my heart. So they can't censor me now because I'm not playing the song, although it's a beautiful song. But it's a true sentiment that when you are one, when you are together, and it's not easy. You want to be beside your person, even in a storm, even when it doesn't make sense. And I want to say hello to my Facebook family and my GCPR radio family. I'm honored and thrilled to be here with you guys today. And for the next 2 hours, you belong to me and also JT. As soon as when he arrives in the studio. I think
I might get off the phone to get on the studio.
Okay. All right. See you soon. Bye. So I think that we have this misconception that when two people come together, it has to be perfect. It's got to be, everything's got to be A-okay. And it's got to be, Mr. G is getting a little irritated. I have to brush my hair. It's really starting to bug me. Sorry, guys. A chance to give it that final brush before we get on here. So that everything has to be perfect. Well, what happens when it's not perfect, guys? What happens when everything is not A-okay? When we are not happy? When everything is not flowing smooth? Okay, what is he saying? And life is just kicking you in the teeth. What happens when there's illness? Not just illness, but I'm talking about the kind of illness that's life-threatening. Somebody gets cancer. Somebody gets what cancer is like the worst possible scenario in that case, and that's hard. That is hard on a couple. What if somebody gets leukemia or lymphoma or or just really, really sick? People respond differently to tragedy, and everybody processes grief differently. Some people push away when they don't run to the situation because they can't bear the thought of losing the person that they love the most. That's a real thing, guys. When somebody has entered your life and it's supposed to be till death do us part, and you don't get any time with that person, and that person's angry, you're angry, but instead of pulling together, enjoying your last moments or trying to make the most of your last moments, some people become angry and distant. There are connections in this world that happen that are beyond our control. They're divine connections. Some people get together and they guard their hearts and they never truly give their hearts to the one they love. And then there are others that form this bond, this connection, where they love in a way that's almost cosmic, that they just become one in ways that they're intuitive. They can finish each other's sentences. It's almost like a telepathy. That kind of love doesn't happen often. And it's a once in a lifetime kind of thing. You can choose it or you cannot choose it. But if you've chosen that kind of love, it's going to be hard because you feel with that person. Literally, you start feeling each other. You become one and you're connected to each other. And you feel each other in ways and anticipate each other in ways that it doesn't happen often. It just doesn't. Some people are destined to be together. And it's like a beyond their control kind of thing. And then, but it's not beyond your control because you can still choose. So if you choose to be together, oh, wait, is that him? Yay! Okay, all right, everyone. This is Mr. JT, the genius.
Well, hello, everybody.
Welcome.
Again,
So we're talking about dealing with tragedy on a level that both people are feeling it. And instead of pulling together, sometimes we pull apart. You know, you have people that have this connection where you can sense a person. You can sense when your person's hurting. You can sense when your person is happy. You know, you're bonded. You can wait a minute. You can hear their heartbeat. You can tell, you know, inflections in their voice.
that is true.
Yeah. So those kind of connections are rare. And the thing about it is, what happens if your person gets cancer, your person gets sick? So this person you're very close to, do you think they pull together and just be this loving one unit and try to, you know, spend their last happy days together? But some people will pull away because they can't help it. Their emotions can't process that. You know, tragedy hits everybody differently. What do you think about that?
I agree 100%. But like I said, if you get married, you're vowing to be together through good times and bad times. And like you said with the Luther song, it's like if you really want to be with that person, you will be there for that person. But if you're looking for a way out, again, a good tragedy would definitely be a good excuse to get out. But it's like so. I don't know. It's like, what you doing? It's either you're in the situation or you're out of the situation. But sometimes people use that as a way to get out of the situation.
Right, right. They've already been disgruntled, and
Right.
the death of a child can really push them over. You know, the woman withdraws. Now she's, you know, she's disappearing. She's talking about leaving, and you know, I'm overcome with grief. But are you taking the coward's way out? Because your person,
Exactly.
you know, he doesn't
It's like
understand
a
how I feel.
right. It's a job, and just like when you go to work and you may not be happy all the time, or whatever, something may happen at your job. Do you leave your job because you're unhappy? No, you're going to stay in there and work because you need that money. So it's the same thing with a relationship or a marriage. Doubly, doubly hard for a marriage because of the simple fact that you vowed to God that you're going to stay together through thick and thin, and the fact that you use a tragedy to escape is cowardly, like you said.
Yes, yes. And JT, we want to thank you for being here. I know you had a long rehearsal. JT, I'm
I
gonna
did.
and talk about your projects because you're always working on something. I was talking about the hookup, and I know you can explain the series a little bit better than I can. I'm a newbie to the series, and I'm very honored to work with you. He is a genius when it comes to film and writing, and just he really gets into his characters. And I just I play Dr. Gia Clinton, of course, myself, and I get to diagnose patients, but I want him to talk about, you know, how this concept came about. We're going to change lanes because we starting to get heavy. And they know Pastor G gets a little heavy. I got to change lanes a little bit to, you know, let them process. I want you to talk to our audience about the hookup. I want to grab some coffee because they know I can't survive
Okay,
without it. Right back. Right
that's
back.
funny.
Yes, that's
For those who's watching, The Hookup is a series that I've written, produced along with Jonathan Showell. It's about young adults trying to find their way out of their situations. Going through good and bad times I guess, is right along the topic that we're speaking on. Is do you hang in or and fight, or do you run away and coward? I mean, that's pretty much the basic bottom line. And young adults trying to find their way out of the situation by using their talents. So it's basically it's a real life story. Uh, Pretty much myself and a mixture of other people that go through the same exact thing. So you need to check it out. It's on Tubi. Right now, it's called the hookup. That's TheHookup. The hookup. Okay.
Yes, I'm trying to get this coffee maker to work. It's starting to work now. So one of the things
Hmm.
I liked about the hookup were the characters were very, very interesting. All of them had their own little stuff going on.
Story. Right. Everybody has their own stories. I'm making as real life as possible.
Right. And they're all interesting characters. Um, I also talked about you being an author and a director of a series called Pages, something that you created with a collection of, and it's children's stories, and I just thought it was very beautiful. Um, it kind of reminds you a little bit of like a Reading Rainbow type of series, and I wanted you to kind of talk to us a little bit about that because it is totally amazing.
Well, thank you, G. But all right, Pages is a storybook channel for children. It's narrated by Shaq Boogie, and it's a bunch of stories written by myself and narrated, and as well, Dr. G. Clinton did a couple of books, and you can check that out too. That's actually on Tubi as well. But it hasn't dropped yet. I think it'll drop in 2 months.
But it's amazing how he can hear a story and just bring it to life. It is the most incredible thing. I told him the story of my grandfather teaching me how to memorize poems, and he was able to bring the entire thing to life. And I will say he did my late grandfather proud. His name was James. And my grandpa James was an amazing man. He taught me to play chess when I was 3. He taught me to read when I was 4. I could read and recite poems and he would pay me money. And that sounds terrible, but I mean, for a little kid, I was really excited. You don't
It's
understand.
called an incentive. I mean, everybody needs need a push, a little push. I'm not mad at
But it taught me at a young age to understand poetry. I didn't just memorize it. Like some of my poets, some of my favorite stories came from like Robert Louis Stevenson and, you know, um, just some really, really awesome authors. Edgar A. Guest, just really, I mean, for a 4-year-old to be able to memorize those poems and recite them was an exciting thing. He strived excellence. He pushed excellence. I mean, how do you teach a baby chess? But he did. And we were pretty good. We were a good team.
it.
But JT, in his creative way, has been able to bring people's stories to life, and stories become a part of history, just as film becomes a part of history. And I thought that was really amazing, um, that you're able to transcribe stories and bring them to life, bring them to the screen, bring them to us, and deliver them in ways that are just incredible. Just the way he can bring a set to life. I was like, oh my God, it looks like a real office. So we were in an abandoned building. The whole floor was like,
Just telling all the secrets.
it was incredible. I found this to be an incredible experience. The way he's able to splice, bring things together. It's just been an incredible journey. And I've seen his finished product, but to actually be a part of it, it's been truly amazing. I was also talking about Darren's Michael Jackson experience. So can you tell us a little bit about that? I know I don't.
Okay. It's called Invincible. I'm a talent on the show as well as I'm a producer. It's a glorious tribute to the late Michael Jackson. We travel all over the world, um, giving people the experience of seeing Michael live on stage again. So we've been traveling from town to town. Next, I think we're in North Carolina, no, South Carolina next. Check us out at Invincible, a glorious tribute to Michael Jackson on Facebook, or find us on Instagram as well. You can see all our latest dates and locations where we'll be.
Wow. I mean, to experience it, I'm going to experience it for the first time, and I'm very excited about it.
It's going down to Philadelphia, people. August 29th, the Rivers Casino, 8 o'clock.
Just get my Splenda, bring it with me, and then we are good to go. I added my whipped cream, and I am very excited about this, people. So Lois Lane definitely needs her coffee. So what I'm saying to you guys is that these are some awesome things, and it's right here, homegrown in our town of, Philadelphia. Although you are technically from Jersey, so you technically are not one of us, but we accept you. So there's a lot of good things going on within Philadelphia. The Michael Jackson tribute I thought was an amazing thing. Darren and I were classmates, and we went to the same school, same private school, and he was an upperclassman though, but I like saying that. But
Okay, you getting kind of close to sharing your age.
what? We will not be doing that in the name of Jesus. We're going down. Oh, make me pull out a polygraph.
That's funny.
Because Darren is the oldest by a few years.
Okay. You better start doing math.
Oh, even I was in junior high. He was in high school. I just got to junior high. But he was a wonderful classmate. We attended Jameson Christian Academy in Philadelphia. And I don't know if any of you who are familiar with the school, the late Dr. Byron Jameson was my teacher. And he also taught one of Darren's classes. No, I think he did teach Darren for a while. And, so it was a tragedy to us because we did love, Pastor Byron or Dr. Jameson. And then we experienced, Dr. Jameson Sr. and Becky, his wife, also died tragically. She had Lou Gehrig's disease, and it was hard. She and I were friends. And so we were prepared, but Dr. J preceded his wife in death. So, which was sudden, and it was hard. But then she went 3 weeks later. So sometimes that happens with couples. One dies, they're so close, they've been together so many years that the one precedes them later, So there is no formula for this. I can tell you that when you're dealing with grief and a tragedy, you don't want it to be a situation where you pull away. It doesn't make the pain any less. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree 110%. Even though you don't think to 100%, but
or if you feel like I'm going to just leave this relationship, this is a good time for me to bail out now because we've had a tragedy and I can use this. You'll find that those things pass. And for you women out there that are trying to escape and get out of these things, you want to try to work it out with your husband. He's already hurting, you're hurting, but to leave him in that state is wrong. I think it's wrong. It's just not what God wants. I think he wants us to try to process and work through things. And resentment doesn't start when a tragedy happens. That's been going on for a while. You just kind of see carpe diem. You seize the moment to just kind of use that.
Pretty much.
JT, if you encountered a couple, and I know we know of a few couples that are going through some situations, but if you encounter a couple that is kind of saying, we want to call it quits because, this is happening or that's happening, what would you say to this couple that says, well, we've had this tragedy. I can't take it right now. I think we just should just go our separate ways and co-parent. And like, what? Y'all in the middle of some seriousness.
Right. That is a good question because it's like, I'm trying to think of the correct answer.
There's no wrong answer. The beauty of this is that there is no wrong answer.
That is true, but I mean, technically, you're supposed to work through this. But if to me, if somebody's ready to run, they're gonna be ready to run at everything. So it's like, what are we fighting for if you're ready to run at all? At any signs of the boat rocking, you know? So right. So to me, because I believe in loyalty because I'm loyal to my partner as well. So it's kind of like you're not loyal to me. So it's like, do you fight for it or do you fight to keep it? Do you
Well,
fight to keep it or do you just let it go? I meant to say.
right, letting it go. But are
Right.
you really able to let a situation go? Um,
Yeah, that's the problem. Because you do grow an attachment to a person, but at the same time, the right answer is to fight through and fight for it and, do all that other stuff. But to me, if you're ready to run, you're going to do it any time that I turn around. So it's like I can't really trust it anymore because you were ready to bail at the sign of trouble. And that's not a good thing.
it isn't. And it's hurtful because when you run, you close the door and the opportunity for God to mend what is broken inside
Exactly.
you, inside the person. You're one. So here's the thing. You can't hurt me without hurting yourself because we're one. And a lot of people don't get that concept that you're hurting, that person's hurting. There is love there, but there's also resentment and anger. And when that resentment and anger sets in, there's bitterness, unforgiveness, all the things that will destroy a marriage, that will destroy a relationship. And you
Right.
can't,
Because,
one partner can't want it and the other partner don't. I'm like, how does that work?
right. And that's the problem that you run into. If it's like, how could you fight for something that the other person's not fighting for?
Exactly. Exactly. You got to be in
But,
the fight together.
right.
It's
But why are we fighting is the question.
like fighting each other or fighting a
Yes,
situation.
fighting each other.
Well, Prince said this is what it sounds like when doves cry. Remember that song?
Yeah, I
You
remember.
like my mother.
You never satisfied. That's funny.
Why do we
But
scream at each other?
yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
Just like
And doves are the most gentle creatures. And can you imagine a dove crying? That's got to be the most hard. I mean, what can make a dove cry? But I think the message Prince was singing or saying or teaching is that why do we scream at each other? Why do we hurt each other? Because that's what
exactly. Why are
doves
we hurting each other? We're
right.
on the same team.
Yes. And the doves represent love, the love you have for each other, the gentleness, the kindness, the softness of it. And we destroy that when we brutalize each other with our words, with our actions, with our anger. Anger is a very brutal weapon. Nobody uses the safe
Right.
side anymore. Nobody wants the safe side.
And and it's funny too because they go out their way to try to throw daggers at each other. And it's like, why are we doing this?
They go for the jugular. You ever see somebody go
Right.
for the jugular? I mean, they're just not, they're not gonna be gentle about it. We're gonna go right for the throat. We're gonna rip the Adam's apple out. We're gonna rip out the lyrics. So, why do that? Because you're gonna regret it.
Mhm. And you can't take it back. No
No,
matter how many times you apologize, it's still gonna linger in that person's hit mind over and over again.
you destroy trust. You destroy boundaries and balance. You destroy the foundation that you work so hard to build with three little words. I hate you, or I never loved you. What? Why would you say something like that? That you
That's
can't.
light work.
And just like that, you've destroyed a relationship.
That was easy.
Pretty much.
Easy button? That was easy. It's easy to destroy. It's difficult to build. Building takes work. You ever watch the kids play Minecraft? I know you've come over sometimes. JT is also a member of our church. We're very good friends. I mean, he helps me with everything. He just fixed my stove this morning, the hood over my stove. I bugged him and bugged him. He was able to bolt that thing up there. I was like, oh my God, what is there anything this man cannot do? But I was thinking, you know how Ori, my grandson, comes over, he likes that Minecraft game. And it's kind of silly. I don't understand it. Little boxes, and he connects all these little boxes and he builds something with just these materials. He built a whole house and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world? But it takes a lot to build a house. The Bible says a wise woman builds her house. A foolish woman tears it down with both her hands.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
I agree 100%.
now that I have a man in the hot seat, I want to ask this question. Nothing dangerous. So, would you agree with the concept that men are like, they're strong and tough on the outside, and you know, we see your tribal tattoo and all this with the band and stuff around your muscles. But so they're strong and tough on the outside, but they're gentle and soft on the inside. They like little boys on the inside. So when a woman pierces that armor, and the only way she can pierce that armor is you would have had to have given her your heart at some point, and you trusting her with this heart. But once she pierces that heart, how easy is it for a man to forgive that?
I mean,
Phones are going off.
that all depends on the individual. That's an
Okay.
individual thing because some people can take a hit and keep moving, or some people can take a hit and fall out. You know what I mean? It's like, so I guess it's on the individual.
Well, would you say that it is easy? Well, the Bible says this. The Bible says it is easy to win an entire city than one wounded brother. Like, to really
That is
hurt
true.
somebody, it's devastating. And when you hurt somebody, sometimes, you hear Pastor G always say, love bears all things, it believes all things, it hopes and endures all things. But what happens when you can't feel love anymore? When, tragedy struck, you're angry, you're hurt, you're raw from the pain of what's happened. Your house burned down. One of us caused this burning of the house. Now you're mad at the person that burnt the house down. The person that burnt the house down is mad at themselves. They're hurt. They feel guilty. They're saying, it wasn't me. I didn't mean it. I would never do this, but you're angry. And the easiest thing to do when we're angry is to lash out at our partner. So
Right.
so we're married. JT and I are now
Hmm.
married. And I burnt the house down. I was cooking on the stove, and wow, people are upset because we're married. We're not married for real, but we're just married on the show right now. Right, let it go, mister. Just saying, brother. So, well, okay. So we're married, and every time I say that, the bells go off.
Right.
And the house is burned down, and you've tried to put the fire out, and we had the firemen come, and they destroyed our beautiful home that you've put time in to build and all that. And so now you're looking at me, I'm looking at you, and I'm telling you, I'm like, babe, I'm so sorry, honey, Jay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And you're like trying to tell me, like, okay, it's gonna be all right, honey, but you're angry because we just had the floors done and our basement just got finished. Your man cave just got built, and and the windows, the firemen bust out our brand new double pane windows that you put in 6 months ago. And I'm standing there in rollers talking about, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's dramatic. I feel like I'm watching a movie.
So, we might have a script coming because he turns anything into a movie. In your heart of hearts, even though you're telling me it's okay, even though I'm upset, even though this was my fault because I did leave grease on the stove, heating up and all this because I was attempting to fry chicken, and you always tell me not to walk away from the stove and everything, and I did anyway, and so you're mad. So how do you work through that process? Because you're mad at me. Our house is burned down. We put thousands of dollars into this house, and now we got to go stay at the Best Western.
I mean, I would have insurance, so that would be cool.
Well, I mean, even with
I'm like,
insurance,
yo,
Best Western because it
I
takes a
mean, you have
minute
it.
before it kicks in.
Yeah, but that's not a reason to dissolve a marriage because of a mistake. People like make mistakes all the time. Nobody's perfect. If you was perfect, you'd be Jesus.
Yeah, but you're angry at me. You're
I
mad at
get
me.
it, but you can't be angry in a situation because anger does nothing in that situation. But most people ain't gonna hear it because most people think with emotions, and that's what happens. You're just emotionally triggered at that time, and you're not supposed to move off emotions because emotions at that time could seem right, but overall it's wrong.
Yeah, but your man cave is destroyed. Your man cave that you worked so hard with the moose head and the deer that you shot last summer is now gone. They done burnt the little deer and everything. So now
I,
there's no man cave. And
I
you
mean, I look at it. It's like Job, the book of Job. Everything that happens happened for a reason. That's all I have to say. I mean, if that happened, that's in God's hands, and that was His will for it to happen. And sometimes you gotta burn the dead grass to let the new grass grow.
so you're saying that even though I burned down our home, you would still forgive me. And even though I'm standing there with soot all over my face and rollers in my head, you would still love me.
I mean, what I'm gonna do? Sit there
It's
and pout
taking a
about it?
while to
I mean, that does nothing for the situation. I mean, like I said, I've written scripts and my computer crashed on me in the middle of writing it, and I had to start all over again. It happens. Or when you're younger, you move from place to place and you lose things. And it is what it is. It happens for a reason. So again, whatever God's purpose for burning down the house, it must have been a reason. So you just can't get
Amen.
mad at it. You just got to keep moving.
The word of God says it is good that I've been afflicted that I might know your will. And so
Exactly.
I respect that because women are more emotional. You see you hear the logic in a man. Now we're gonna flip the script and you burnt the house down. I'm gonna be upset. The therapist in me is gonna try to be understanding. The woman in me is gonna be emotional. And maybe
Yeah.
irrational. So, how many minutes were you away from the stove before it went up in flames and burned our house down?
Right.
Right, I might be a little more emotional than you. In fact,
Uh,
I don't know that you'd be this calm because of the man cave. We didn't had a designer come in and design your man cave with we had the special, rotating, theater put down there and everything so we could private screening of your films and we could, not to mention all your camera equipment and your computers and he's probably not going to ever let me visit his home after that story. He's like, oh, well, you never coming over. But I'm just saying.
I mean, that's the reason you have insurance.
That's true. That's true. But
Just
it
in case.
right, but it doesn't replace the memorabilia and the memories
I
that we
mean,
can't get back.
memories are here,
Okay. Says the man that
right?
can create anything on paper, but film.
Memories, though, I mean, that's just an item. An item can be replaced. A memory can't. A memory's bedded into your head. for the rest of your life.
Okay.
It's not that deep. See, I don't know. That's what I said. Like, yeah, I'm a total different kind of beast because I believe in communication, talking things out rather than fighting and arguing over everything.
But how do you talk that out? How do you talk the hidden feelings and the hidden emotions of being angry about something that's happened that you in your heart know that you, first of all, I know it's not your fault. If you burnt the house down, I know it's not your fault. And even if it is your fault, I know that those things can be replaced. So what is the real reason why I'm so angry? You know, there's got to be an underlying reason. There's got to be other things.
Right.
You can't
That was just
have your
that
socks
was
on the floor and didn't put them in the hamper a couple times. And maybe I was resentful of that. And I'm just kidding.
no, but no, trust me, it's been I've heard crazier stories than me.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I guess that's on the individual if you want to stay in a situation like that. That's the problem right there.
Right, right. People who are running for an exit started resenting the situation long before a tragedy has happened.
It is definitely the iceberg. It's
Right,
much
right,
more beneath the
right,
water than it is above.
right, right. It's definitely something more. So when you have somebody, but you don't understand, Pastor Gia, I put up with a lot, and now or just say, for example, you get married and you discover one of us can't have children. You know what I mean? And I want a baby and you can't give me a baby, or you want babies and I found out I can't have babies. So then how do we deal with the fact that our life is going to be altered? It's easy for people to sit in the sidelines and say, oh, just adopt. Yeah, but I want our child.
Right.
You know, I want to look into this child's face and see your eyes, or you want to look into this child's face and see my eyes, or you know what I mean? We want our baby. But now I can't give you that, or you can't give that. We can't make that because one of us can't. And so resentment happens. And how do you make that up to somebody? How do you excuse that? Because now, and there's no way to know that sometimes.
Right. Especially if you're not communicating with each other. See, I believe in an open communication. Say how you feel, say it from your chest, and let's move on.
Well, what happens if you're both healthy? You're told you're healthy. She goes to the doctor and discovers she doesn't have a uterus, or I mean, I don't know, her eggs or something's going on, or a tube is blocked, or something. Some kind of way now prevents her from having children. Maybe her uterus is damaged and she can't hold a baby. You know,
Mm.
I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but I do understand that when those type of tragedies happen, what do we do? That's called life happening. That's called
Right.
life happening. You're both healthy.
Exactly.
You want to travel the world. You know, you're 64 and a half and 3/4, and you're about ready to retire. And, you know, you put in for a trip around the world because you planned this and you and your wife are planning this. And then suddenly she takes ill, she has a stroke, or she falls down the steps and breaks her neck, or, you know, she has cancer. So the trip is off. And all of the things that you hope for dies in that moment. So how do you adjust to that? There's got to be a way, you know, because if you get sick, we're married, you get sick, I don't want to say goodbye to you. I don't want to say my mother and the wedding was. No. Next it'll be your mother. Wow, she's calling back. Come on, mom. Mom. Hey, on the air. It's me and JT. Can I? We're on the air right now. Say hi to the audience, Mom.
Hello, audience.
Hi, everyone. This is my mother, Dr. Linda M. McCuff. Mom, JT is also in the audience. He's also in the studio with me. Say hi to JT.
Good evening.
He was just at your house. We were talking about. Well, we want to ask you a question while we have you here. We're talking about people who experience tragedy, and their ability to love past the tragedy, a death of a child, a fire that happens, and suddenly you want to go your separate ways because all your stuff's gone, or you know you find out your spouse is ill, or you find out your spouse can't have children, and you've planned for a life together through no fault of anybody. It's just, these things happen. Life happens. That's what we say. But how do you deal with the spouse that wants to run for the exit? This is Dr. Linda M. McCuff, everyone. Wonder where I get it. Listen to her. Okay, go ahead, Mom.
Okay, that's quite a question. It's loaded. But here's the thing. We all have to make a decision, our own personal decision, on how we choose to deal with the matter. When I find myself at the end of myself, I go to the Lord. He gives me grace to make the decision that must be made and to stand by it. That's the only advice I have.
Wow. Wow. That was a mouthful there. That was very good. So if a wife comes to you, Mom, and she says, Dr. McCuff, I'm here for counseling. My mother's also a therapist, in case you guys didn't know. She's been a pastor for a long time. She says to you, I don't want to stay with my husband. We're young. We found out we couldn't have babies, and it's not me, it's actually him. And I feel like if I get rid of him, I'll have an opportunity to have a baby. What does God say about that? Because this isn't my fault.
Okay, but it goes back to the original commitment. Did she love him when she married him? If something
Right.
that could come up and erase the relationship that they have, or have them want to erase it, you have to then question, where's the love?
Was it ever there?
Was it ever there?
Because
now we're looking at a loveless relationship.
Wow.
And you can't go back from that. Once
See,
somebody checks out, they checked out.
everything, anything. When you find yourself in a situation where love is not covering, that's what the Bible says. Love covers
Yes.
a multitude of faults.
Yes.
That should kick in. If it doesn't, again, the question becomes, did they ever love each other?
Because love doesn't leave, does it? It's committed.
It's committed.
And JT talked about, the fire situation, and he talked about, it's just things. You have insurance, you replace it, you work through those things. There is no anger to the point where, because I was giving the example, we're married and I burned the house down and he just had his man cave put in and all that. He said, but there's nothing that's happened that no one can replace versus, you're running for the exit. It's got to be more to it than that. It didn't just start with a fire.
That's right. He's right about that.
So how do you work through that if you're the spouse that wants to stay?
Well, you can't. Here's the thing about that. One spouse wanting to stay and the other wanting to leave. I think the Bible gives sound advice when it says, if the unbelieving depart, let them go. For God has called us to peace.
Amen.
And if you have a spouse that's using material things, my concern would be, I'm glad he didn't get burned or that, he didn't perish in the fire. Not, the cosmetics of the room.
Amen. Amen.
People are worth more than things.
That's right. That's right.
That's 100.
Yeah, the years you put together, that's got to count for something.
That's got to count for something.
Right. You're telling me a TV or a new floor was worth what we built? No, it's not that. That I have to question the love. That's why I said you can lose your trust in that moment. It shows where that person's true intent was from the start.
That's right. That's right. Because people, we know, Mom, people get married for many reasons. I'm marrying you because you look good, or I'm marrying you because we're going to be this power couple together. I'm marrying you because what you can bring to me. I love you because you love me, or I love you because you lovely. But love is more than that. It's dedication.
Yes, it is. It's commitment.
It's commitment. It's a job. You
Is
gotta
it?
take it as seriously as you would take your job.
You hear what he said about being a job, Mom?
Oh no, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, we put you on the speaker. But it is a
Oh,
job anyway. Go ahead, JT.
no, I said it's just as important as to keep your job.
Actually,
And,
it's more important than keeping a job.
Why is
well,
that?
I mean,
Because, see, with a job, you're only committed as much as long as the job lasts. The marriage should last long beyond the troubles that we find ourselves in. And the vow taken for better or for worse, for richer or for poor.
Forsaking
That
all
means
others.
no matter what.
Right. So with the job, we know that we get the gold watch, we can retire at 65, and we're done with that job. So I
And
get what you're saying.
maybe the job folds.
Or,
n-
yep, these companies fold now.
yeah, but
You
it's
don't have
when I,
but
Hold
you
on,
but
Mom.
you
certainly
don't go into a. I said you don't go into a job every day talking about. Every day you go into a job, you have to take it seriously until it ends, or just like and sometimes it may not end. You just keep working. It's kind of one of the things, but you got to take every day as though you want to make this situation be.
He's talking about the commitment aspect of being on the job. You're there,
Right.
you're committed. Can you hear, Mom?
yeah, I can't. Well, is the job committed? I had a friend years ago, and she got sick. She worked,
Oh, yeah.
and she never took any of her sick days. She was never late. She was never absent for any reason. She was committed to that job, and then she
Hmm.
got sick, and then she had a heart attack, and she died. All of the time that she had saved up by not using it, you would have thought that the job would have, kind of given it to her family or whoever her beneficiary was. They didn't.
Wow.
So
Wow.
for a job, you only as your ability to do the job or be there for the job. The same kind of commitment should go both ways. But
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
with the job. There's no real personal investment made. But in a marriage, there is personal investments made.
Well, job has it's
You'll care,
definitely a personal investment with a
you
job
will
too. I mean,
in each other's life
right.
and not leave.
Right.
If you can't make that kind of promise, then don't get married.
Right. If you
Pretty
can't
much.
make the promise.
Right.
Earlier, JT was saying that earlier, because people will promise that they're going to stay in a marriage, but they already have it in their mind that the moment this person does something I don't like, the moment this happens or that happens, that's a deal breaker. When you
Hmm.
went into a marriage under false pretenses,
Well, the only thing that severs the relationship is death.
right, is that.
Right. Hmm.
Okay, kids.
Well,
I'm gonna let you guys have at it. I
All
enjoyed
right.
this.
we enjoy hearing you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, JT, it's your mom's turn. And her jump in this.
That's
So
fine.
I get what she's saying. And I get what you're saying about showing up for a job. We do, I believe we should treat marriage like we're showing up for work. The difference is we have a lot more invested in the marriage than we do on a job, in that we're with each other 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, twice a week.
Actually, not. Everybody's working now, so nobody spend time together anymore.
I know, but I mean, you're in the same house, you're in the same bed, you know,
I
you're
know,
it's
but
just
I know. I'm just saying. But if you go into a situation like, oh, this is just my marriage, so that means you're gonna look in your kind of way. You're not trying to
right.
impress them. You
Yeah,
just that's what I'm saying. But when you go to work, you're gonna make sure you're on point, on time. You're gonna look presentable. You're gonna, what I mean. So it's like that sense of responsibility of holding down the job is the same way you should have that same sense of responsibility as holding down a marriage.
right. So you're saying that these people should be bringing their A game.
Right.
Right. Right.
Now,
I
don't
agree.
guarantee.
Right.
Right.
Because
That's all the thing.
because the one thing that you're going to think about, did I try hard enough? Did I really give this my all, or was I running for an exit?
Right.
And in that regard, is it lawful? Is it right? You're going to always regret and wonder if this was my best. Did I really try to give it my all? Should I have really
Right.
walked away under these circumstances? Okay, my husband's sick. Or okay, we lost this. Or okay, we lost that. There's always going to be somebody out there. Yeah, I could have married my childhood sweetheart. And then don't let no work husband surface on your job. He's just sitting around like a spider waiting for somebody to mess up. He can get in there, live in your house. He'll have that man cave rebuilt.
Right.
Or the work wife. You don't know, one man's poison is another man's meat. So where you're trying to get rid of this person, where you're trying to say, I don't want this person no more. Some spider is sitting in the corner talking about, yes, excellent, everything is going as I have foreseen. They're doing the Senator Palpatine.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that when we talk about tragedy striking, how do you deal with the grief of a car accident? A car accident happens, your spouse becomes injured, to the point where he loses limbs, or there's complications from a surgery and he's losing limbs and he becomes deathly ill, and you have to watch your spouse suffer. How do you detach from that? How do you deal with that? Is love enough to cover all of that? Because your mental has got to be incredibly, like, why is this happening? Oh my God, we're being punished. What do you think?
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with your mom 100%. It all depends on how you went into the situation and your attention when you went into it. Because, yeah, if you're just a tuck tail and run, then you're not really in for the situation. So, I mean, those situations show us who we really are with. Because just like in the book of Job, when Job went through his stuff, and it was kind of 6 in a row with him because he made it through. He was blessed at the end of it.
And
But
God gave him double for his trouble.
exactly. But she tucked tail and ran. That's actually funny.
She was
But
like,
so
curse God and die. Well, you just want to get rid of this man and you want him to spend an eternity in hell.
right.
I mean, wow. Really? She had
Oh,
become
because
bitter and anguish.
right.
They
So
lost
she
everything
wasn't.
created.
So that was God removing her. And I mean, people don't look at. I
Well, she
mean, you
didn't
can
die
look
in
at
the story. She didn't die. But God was like,
no,
in your
but he removed them.
life, no.
He removed the people that didn't need to be around him. Low
Right.
key.
Wife, cattle, and children, everybody turned against him.
He
And
showed he opened his eyes.
yes. And he said, though he
He,
slay
he
I trust in him. Even if he kills me, I'm going to still trust him. I'm going to still stand with him. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was the same thing. Job said, listen, it's good that I've been afflicted that I might know your will. I don't know what's going on, but I know this
Right.
affliction. If you brought this upon me, if this is happening, then it's good because all things, no matter how bad it is, God's going to get his glory. He's going to work it together for his good, for your.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying about the grass. Sometimes you got to burn the, you got to get rid of the dead grass so the new grass can grow.
Right, right. And everybody experiences tragedy. It's not, you're not being punished. It's not something that you deserve. Bad things happen to good people. You know, I counsel a couple whose wife was raped coming home from work. She was a nurse. She had worked the late shift. The husband went through a tremendous amount of guilt. You know, it was a horrible thing that happened. But unfortunately, you know, I don't know, they didn't feel like they could work through that. She was suffering. She was horrified. She was torn up inside, but then he was suffering too. You can't punish the person who was a victim of something tragic. That's another thing. You know, how you gonna
Right.
punish her? I mean,
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, they wouldn't. That's just God just showing you this person is not meant for you,
but you're in it.
pretty much.
You're like
I
in it.
know.
How do you
Yeah. It's like, where do you go from there? But at the
right,
same time, he probably showed you so many other times and you just bypass that, you know, bypass that door. But
yeah,
yeah, it's just, how could you fight? How could one person fight if the other person is trying to get away?
right, right. Sometimes you just
You
have to
know,
let things go. And if it's yours, it'll come back. And if it's not, then it's supposed to, you know, it is.
no, if it goes, it just goes. It ain't coming back. I turn that boomerang thing don't work for me no more.
You ain't coming back. Minister JT said, if you leave, you're staying gone. You get out,
Right.
stay out. You know,
Door
because
locks
going
behind you.
back is not gonna fix anything. Because whatever that person, whatever the reasons are probably still there. Johnny
Mhm.
Erickson, I don't know if anybody's ever heard the story of Johnny Erickson. She had a ski accident and she was paralyzed, I believe from the neck down. And she was engaged and she had a bright future and all this. And then one accident took away everything. And God had to, she lost her fiance because, you know, he wasn't, some people, you know, something like that, they're not going to stick around for it. But God has sent another man in her life. And they've been married for many, 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 many years. They have been married. And she was happy, even in that state. She had written books. She'd gone around and lectured and did tours and things like that. That there is life even within a tragedy. There is still hope. And a lot of people think, you know, oh my God, this horrible thing has happened. How do we get past this? There's hope. You
Right.
know, there's hope. And like, you know, JT is saying, you got to be committed to that. You can't go into a marriage, you know, God forbid, you know, you get burned up in a fire, or God forbid if something happens, God forbid, you know, that takes away something, or you're blinded. So you're married to this beautiful woman, but you can't see her anymore, you know, or, you know, you just don't know what we're going to have lots and lots of kids and you can't have kids. Things happen. And so happiness has to begin when the two of you, you know, when you made that decision to be with one another, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, sickness and in health, forsaking all others. That means your girlfriends, your guy friends, the naysayers, the negative people. You got to forsake them when you meet the one.
There,
Keep
there
the
was
old
no fine print on that.
her, right.
There wasn't a fine print when you agreed to that.
The very fine print. I've done enough of those weddings to read that. I tell that if someone leaves your life, you need to let them go. You can't force someone to stay with you ever. It just doesn't work. They'll just leave again. And if
Hmm.
that is their, what is it, method, what is modus operandi, if that is their thing, they leave instead of staying. They shut down. Because here's the thing: when somebody leaves or you have a big fight, okay, you two of you, let's say we have a big fight, and you don't, we're married, we have this big fight, you take your luggage and you pack up and you go over to your mom's house.
What am I, 12?
I'm upset because we didn't work through the argument. You leave me alone, already hurt, and you're over your mom's. Well,
How could I
you know,
be over my mom?
this
I
is
just
what
took it a
happens.
hotel room.
Go, somebody
Why
is
would I get? Why am I leaving my house? No. That's simple. No, I am not. No, if you want to go, you can go. But
you're the one that left.
nah, I ain't leaving my house.
No, I don't leave my house.
Okay then, I guess we just be mad.
Right. But at some point, two people who are angry, a lot of therapists believe that you can't let the sun go down on your anger. The Bible talks about the sun going down on your anger. You can't go to bed angry because then it festers. Okay, say we can't talk tonight because you're heated and all that. But somebody needs to be humbling themselves. Love is about humility, isn't it? Patience is
Hmm.
about humility, kindness, long suffering. It's not selfish, it is selfless. And these are the attributes of love. And if you don't bear those attributes, the Bible says it bears all things, it believes all things, it hopes all things, it endures all things. Now I'm talking real tough because I'm not married. So when I get married, I'm like, and another thing, I do have some coping tools, but not to
That's
say that
fine.
I would not be married. I mean, that I wouldn't be angry in a marriage. Of course, passion is what fuels anger. When things don't go your way and you're angry, but there's a way to direct those passions. You don't stomp, devour, and hurt your partner because you're angry. You know, I'm going to
Right.
make them pay because they didn't do this. I'm just going to move out and not talk to them. Are you insane? What are you doing? Bad person. You can't do that. I would not leave you in our $600,000 house and go stay with my mother to prove a point, or walk around our $600,000 house and speak to you to prove a point. That is ridiculous. That is about control. It is about manipulation. It is not
Hmm.
maturity, and it's definitely not love. It's selfishness.
Exactly. That's
Bible
what I'm
says that
saying.
pride goes before destruction. That is pride. Do you agree?
Hmm.
You think that's pride?
That's 100% pride. It's ego, pride. I don't care what you call it. It's not good.
So what happens when his wife the silent treatment because he's angry at her for a tragedy that's really beyond their control? Some things are
I
just in
mean,
God's hands.
pretty much it can't unless it's really that serious. I mean, those problems will go away in a day or two. Not even a day. It'd be like 6 hours. It'd be over it.
So have you
It
ever
only
done the
take.
silent treatment?
Oh yeah, get me mad. I won't talk to you.
That is not cool. That is not okay. Okay. The silent treatment is not good. All right. I'm going to spank his hand. Bad JT. It's not good. You can give a woman a silent treatment because you're mad at her.
I mean, rather than just be
Silent treatment
yelling and screaming,
All right. Well, how long did your silent treatment last?
they don't last that long.
Ballpark figures.
It depends on what that
Week,
person
two
did.
weeks. And then it's called emotional
Hey,
abandonment.
I'm a Cancer, so we do go back into our whole.
Crab retreating to his shell. I see.
Yeah.
So your partner is now walking around, especially a female partner, is emotional. And she's now walking around emotional and hurt, and she has no way to express this to you because you've shut her out.
Right. And the only reason I would do that shut out is the fact that she couldn't express herself. Like we can have a conversation and talk, but if you're screaming and yelling, oh yeah, cut conversation. Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yelling and
you know,
screaming, it's better
yeah,
than.
we're not doing all that. Right.
Uh-huh. But if you're mad at your partner, and most men
You
won't,
can't be that mad at your partner. But see, that's the problem. The people try to justify hurting the person that you're supposed to be riding with.
right?
No justification. No matter how mad you get at a guy, you're not going to be cursing him out and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like, show me that same respect. So let's have a conversation. I'm not going to do the same. I wouldn't do that to you. Do not do that to me.
Huh, I see. So you're
Okay.
saying that some silent treatment is justifiable.
Right, because allow you to get calm, cool. You can attack the situation on a different headspace if you just take a
So,
moment just to think instead of reacting. You're thinking instead of reacting,
so are you
responding.
on emotional overload? Is that why men shut down and do the silent treatment? Because women are talkers, you can see.
Well, see, right, and see what happens is you start saying things out of anger, and things start, and then later you're like, "Oh, I didn't mean that. I was angry." And it's like, but you can never take that back. So me, I don't never speak out of anger. So I'll cut the conversation off, and I'll think about another way of approaching it later. But they also get people mad because people want to yell and scream and do all this other stuff and react, and they want that reaction, but I can't do all that.
They ain't got time for all that. Get your blood pressure up,
Right.
your heart rate, everybody.
Exactly. Some
Oh,
people do want that reaction. I just don't, it's not worth it. Because then you're doing stupid stuff and then you catch yourself, cops called and
oh
all
God.
this other stuff. Right. Over something that'll be something so petty, but it'll just because of that explosive reaction to that situation. It's not worth it.
So are you saying when a man is doing the silent treatment, is it better to just let him stay in silent mode and not approach the man? Or
Exactly. Or if you do, you come at them in a different direction.
and what direction is that? Like how should
I'm
they?
just saying, like you can get mad at somebody, but then you be like, babe, you want something to eat? Like, and then you can take
Oh,
that conversation and move.
so you're saying that she should entreat him. Yeah, and that's what
No,
I say.
I'm
You
just saying, take it or approach a person in a different situation. Kind of like it's like somebody has to be the bigger person.
person,
You're
right?
right. And that's all it is. It's just like, all right, we fought. All right, we can get over it. Let's move on. It's kind of one of those things. Somebody's got to take that initiative to do it. But if everybody's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to talk to her. Both of y'all playing that same game with nothing. You can never move nowhere.
Right. Nobody moves. What if
Right.
your wife, instead of the silent treatment, she's crying and all this? And so, when some women are emotional, I mean, I can admit that because I cry at sad movies. I cry at the Hallmark Channel. If it's just mushy, I will cry. So I I am a crier. So every man can't handle that. A woman that is emotional. And some men feel like her emotions are used as a punishment mechanism, when in fact that is just how she's made. Some women, cry. I mean, I cried when they shot Bambi's mom. I mean, how dare you kill that deer's mother? Some women are, very emotional. And unfortunately, men who are emotionless tend to marry emotional women because they create balance, you know.
Right.
But you have to be the stoic one, and that gives her a little more pause. And she's very emotional, so that kind of puts you more in touch with emotion. You know what I mean? You're more in touch with it. But if you're both cold and distant, how's anything done? I mean, two cold people, two Vulcans, you know, I mean, live long and prosper. I mean, how was that going?
Exactly. It don't work.
Yeah, you can't have two people. By the same token, you can't have a guy who's extremely emotional and you're extremely emotional. I think opposites in a relationship is a beautiful thing. I don't want
Right.
someone like me. I don't want a man sitting there crying over the Hallmark Channel and I'm crying over the Hallmark Channel because then, you know, who's going to comfort me? You know, when I'm crying over the Hallmark Channel, I got to comfort him. That's a
And then
drag.
you are crying. That's
We're watching a movie and I'm sitting there crying and I look over and I, Jay, are you crying? What is happening?
Yeah.
Now I got to stop my crying and being into the movie and comfort and worry about you because you're sitting there crying. You're taking away from my crying.
I'd be worried about myself if I was crying over it.
Right. Why am I suddenly crying over the Hallmark Channel? Because
Exactly.
snowed and they're snowed in. I mean, you always tease me about those movies, but it's interesting that when you're in that situation and you're opposites, the first thing people complain about when they feel that they're not heard or not understood is that this person is so different than me. He's just cold and distant. He's nothing like me. Well, you're not supposed to be. I mean, can you imagine? If both of you, like you said, both of you walking around not speaking, what would that even look like, Jay? With that, you know, who's going to cook breakfast? Nobody's talking to anybody. We all going to write notes to each other.
No, but I mean, normally that's what happens. Somebody, the person that normally, even though they're mad, they still do what they do. You know what I mean? Like I can be mad, but I can still, or be upset with the person, but I can still do what I do. But I mean, just still be upset. You know, kind of one of those
Yeah, but if
things. But
you're mad at me and you're not talking to me and you fix me breakfast, I'm going to be a little skeptical about eating it because I don't know what's in it. I'm just saying. I'm trying to exact some revenge, but I did
you
burn
get a
that.
question.
It's like, I don't know. And
That's
you're not
fine.
going to say anything. You're just going to put it on the table, and I'm going to be looking like. So then, therefore, you don't have to admit that it's poison in this. You can just put it on the table, and I got to figure it out. So I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm going to take that chance
Wow.
and eat this breakfast when you're angry.
That's their decision making from this.
Right.
Get with somebody that would be
Make a
willing to
good
include
decision
you.
here, and this might not be a good decision to eat
Right.
this breakfast that you have made when that you with your own hands when you're angry. I think
That's
I'm gonna leave some
hilarious.
shells in these eggs and stir them up. I don't know. As I
That's
noticed the
hilarious.
Drano was missing. Is this in his tea? I'm just, some people will take you there. So, and no husband, we're just being funny. No husband or wife be trying to kill their spouse or do anything to each other. That is just horrible. I think that when a person is cooking for you and they're giving you the silent treatment, they're trying to extend an olive branch. I'm emotional. I can't talk to you. Men tend to hold their emotions inward. We just let it all hang out. And you're trying to bridge the olive branch. So if you're mad at me and you fix me breakfast, all jokes aside, I'm going to be moved. I am. I'm going to be very moved. So I'm always the one that cooks. I've never had anyone cook for me, so I would just be all moved and excited and happy, thinking that we're on the verge of making up. Yes. No, I'm not going to make any sudden moves, though. I'm not going to look at approach right away. I'm trying to hold it all in because you because you might not like emotion at this point, but that would probably move me. So there are ways that we can communicate without words to say I love you. What are some of the ways a man who, such as yourself, who gives the silent treatment to show I love you? How would you do that when you're fighting and you've hurt someone? Maybe you didn't mean to hurt them, but you can't express that you didn't mean to hurt them because You carry all your emotions on the inside.
Hmm, that's a good question. I, I mean, I'm all about action, so my actions alone is like, it's kind of like if I'm there for you, I'm there for you, kind of one of those things, you know. And I wouldn't, I guess, a little
Is it done out of duty or out of sincerity?
out of both, because, like I said, it's like if I know what my position is in the job, I'm gonna go to the job and do the best at my position I can be. It's kind of one of those things that you would go above and beyond trying to make employee of the month.
Frankie Speaks says, interesting conversation on male emotions. Yeah, I'm learning a lot from the male emotions. You guys are, and jump in, Frankie. Give us a comment here because male emotions are complicated. I thought female emotions were complicated. Yours are more complicated because you hold everything in. You don't display your emotions, so she doesn't know
Right.
what you're thinking. We always assume that you guys don't care, and that's not true.
Right, but the guy is supposed to take all of that. Like even if you look at the structure from the Bible, it's the man that's supposed to take all of that.
Why does he
You
have to?
know, that's his burden. That's his job. He takes on. He moves. That's why he doesn't move emotionally. Men are not supposed to move emotionally. We're supposed to think when we move. That's the woman's job to, like you said, the balance. Both of y'all can't be super hyper emotional, and both of y'all cannot be cold and distant. But it's like it gotta be it's a balance,
So,
And when guys structure family, that's what he meant.
so if you have a woman that's cold and distant, you have to kind of break the ice. Where
Right.
does pride come in and says, you know what, I'm not talking to her. I don't care what she does. She's just going to have to stay that way, or I'm not going to heal the situation because.
You said when did they come? What? Can you go back on that question again, please?
Oh, and say, does Jay think emotions vary between cultures, black versus white, Latino, etc.? This is what Frankie Speaks says. Or I think you all are the same when it comes to emotions. I don't think it's about color. I think you men are just macho. But no, you tell us because you're the man.
It mean I get that's kind of hard.
Is it a color
Be-
thing, really?
All right, well, okay, no man in being in the house. Okay, a woman can't teach a boy how to be a man, and what happens is the woman teaches that boy, if there's no man in the house, to be that woman. And so that's why these young guys who would come with single parents households are highly emotional because they're learning from their mother. They're learning how to react from their mother. They're learning how their mother moves and what their mother says, and they're imitating that instead of imitating a positive role model in a man. You see what
Wow.
I'm saying? So it kind of like makes these guys hyper emotional now. So because they see their mother being hyper emotional, they don't see how a guy reacts to a situation. It's kind of one of those things.
Frankie, I hope that
So
answers your question, but
no, but
that's
I mean, if it's a cultural thing, I think it's a more of a family based thing. I
okay.
don't. I mean, because you can have like,
So it's the same
I,
thing
you
if it
know,
was a white male who was raised by his mom instead of his father. He didn't have a father in the home.
right, they're still going to have the same problem, but the likelihood of that happening is much lesser than it is in our community.
Frankie says, honestly, are black men more vulnerable? Good question. Um,
Well, you know how I stand with victimhood, so I can't even answer that way. That's like,
Frankie, are you
but
asking if black men are more vulnerable that do not have fathers in the home? Is that what you're asking? Because some have
right, no,
grandfathers
that's what,
being raised by, or uncles.
yeah. See, but the
No man in the
grandfathers
home is
now, now the thing what you said about the grandfathers. by the time that they're grandfathers, they're so um they're not as strict being a grandparent because it's not their responsibility. Like my
What?
father,
That's not
yeah,
what it means.
I saw it from no, I saw it from my father. As a kid, I grew up. My father was straight military, just.
Okay.
But as him as a grandparent, it's like, hold on, you would have never let us get away with that. It's kind of like so. I've
You're just
seen
trying
it
to get
firsthand,
that point.
right?
Right. Please,
So it's not the same, and his grandfather's not going out there really. He's guiding the grandson, but he's not being that father figure. He
yeah.
can't be there. He's not. I mean, he could try to be like anybody could try to be that father figure, but that real father bond is hard to break. I mean,
The
duplicate.
grandfather is raising the like if the grandparents, we have a lot of situations where grandparents are raising
Yeah,
grandchildren.
but it ain't gonna be the same because the grandfather is so much older that it's not gonna be the same as a younger father raising his boy. It's
Got
gonna, you know what I mean? So you're gonna have somebody more older in their ways, and their thinking is gonna be way past their thinking. So they won't even meet it halfway in the middle.
right, right. That's true. That's true. Okay.
So
Um,
that's the only difference.
yeah, so Frankie, I would have to say, I kind of agree with JT that there really isn't a substitute for a father. I was raised with my stepdad, and having him, raise me. He says, I'm a white mute woman who became mute by a racist classmate at the age of 10. Being around black people growing up and white men, it seemed black men are more vulnerable because abuse they have to be. I don't. Uh,
No, what she's trying to say about being a black man and how hard we have it. And I don't subscribe to that.
tell her why.
So, what's
You
that?
tell her why you feel this question.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm not because I don't play the victim. I don't like that. I don't have any excuses of why haven't done anything. I don't use that as a crutch to move forward. So I really personally can't answer that question.
Well, I feel like the Bible says, Frankie, that even she says that that's what I'm saying, Jay. She agrees with you. Even a
Yeah.
child is known by their ways when they're young, whether they be good or evil. So I don't think that's about color so much as the Bible says men love darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil. You choose to do evil, even as a
Hmm.
child. If a child hurt you when you were a child, that was an evil person enacting sin, and they deserve to be punished for that crime. I think that evil is a choice, just like being good is a choice. You do have people, Frankie, that have not been raised by mother or father, grown up in orphanages, foster care, this kind of, but turn out to be some of the most exceptional people the world has ever seen. Good people, black people, white people, you know, Asian people. Everybody doesn't have that, you know, two-parent household, but there are people that make a choice to be good, that they're going to be better than what they were brought into. And it's
That's why
about,
we have free will.
yeah, it's about free will, right? And character.
Mm.
And
Right.
character matters to God. If you say, well, I didn't have it good, so I'm gonna make sure nobody in this world have it good. I'm gonna go around robbing, killing, and stealing, and pillaging, and raping, and all this. Well, okay, well, first of all, you deserve to be in an institution, a criminal institution for the criminally insane, and you deserve to be there. If this is what your choice is to you've made a decision to hurt people in that manner.
That's racist.
But it doesn't make them black or white. This is about being a criminal.
I know. I was just being funny.
That's not racist. That's right or wrong. So it says the same little white boy today is an awful person to his family and is abusive. Wow. Yes, character does matter. Amen. Amen.
Character, yes.
Yes. 100%. Frankie, 100%.
Right. So that's why I don't think race have anything to do with it. I just believe in how you were raised and the people that's around you. But that's even no guarantee. It's all a formula that you don't know. It's just, if it works, it works. Because out of three, we all three act totally different. My
Yes,
sister act like she was from Philadelphia, like she was born and raised inside the, which is really weird because we were born and raised in Bensalem. And my brother, he's pretty much just there. You know what I mean? So it's like you have same family but
right,
different outcomes.
right. Isn't that something that you can have three children all raised by the same? Can
Right.
his definition of so she wants to know if you can give your definition of vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
I,
Evil. No,
I'm assuming you're saying, Frankie, with regard to children or with regard. So the discussion tonight is about couples making a choice to be, angry, to be abusive, or to leave a situation that has been struck with tragedy. And so, say a house burns down, or there's a miscarriage and a child dies, or things like that. So I don't know how long you into the program you joined us, but that is the topic that we're discussing. And JT has said that this is a choice. Anger is a choice. If I'm angry with you, why should I walk around and not speak to you for days and days and weeks when he's saying that maybe not speaking to each other is a form of de-escalation so that we can come together later and talk about the situation.
right.
Under no circumstances are we running away from the marriage. The marriage is work. And so it's a job.
Exactly.
There, and only this job is till death do us part.
Pretty much.
Regarding relationships, how would you define vulnerability?
Vulnerability in a relationship. I mean, just being, my definition of being vulnerable is that being able to share my thoughts, being able to share my actions and creativity with that person. To me, that's my vulnerability. But some people want, emotionally vulnerability. It all depends on somebody's love language. But it's just basically letting yourself be open to that person and trusting that person 100%.
Right. I agree with that. So it's basically letting yourself be open and trusting that person. And when you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable and someone betrays that, you want to feel
Right.
safe in your marriage. You want to lay down next to each other and know that no matter what happens, short of an anvil falling on your head, that we are safe. We are in the
Right.
safe space. The safe zone that Pastor Gia talks about is important because it means that it's a position of trust. I can trust that I can say something to you and we're okay, but if we're not okay, the next time we fight, I'm going to be wanting to hide things from you because I'm afraid that our relationship, I'm afraid to be vulnerable with you. Thank you, Frankie. I'm
I'm,
afraid to be
I'm,
vulnerable with you.
I'm right. I'm afraid. I'm walking around on eggshells now. That's not a comfortable
That's
situation. And it's like, right. I don't know how to approach this person because every time I say something, they fly off the handle or just, yeah, that's not a comfortable situation. And
right.
so, yeah, that's what I'm right.
It's not a
Communication is
comfortable
everything.
situation. It's not.
Right.
When
It
you
gets you
love,
nowhere.
when you
What's
love
that?
somebody, I'm saying when you love somebody, um, the first thing you want to do is show them that you love them, and show them that you can trust them. You work hard to build this place of trust.
Right.
And if I betray that, so you make a mistake, I'm mad at you, or you're mad at me. When we come together, I have to be willing to forgive that because I love you, and I've said that we have the safe zone. And if we don't have the safe zone, then it's a problem. And we're speaking about relationships in terms of why are you laughing? You know, the safe zone is you're always laughing at my safe zone. Everybody laughs at the safe zone, but everybody will
No,
stand.
no, I wasn't like no, because that's my biggest pet peeve is once if I feel like this is the vulnerable part. If you feel
Okay,
like I can open up and tell you anything and you throw it back at me in an argument or when you're heated, that's when trust definitely goes for me.
right, right.
Because if I tell
You
you
do
something,
it
that
out
means
of emotion, not necessarily we look for something in our arsenal to hit you with. You know,
right. You
how
try to
dare you?
destroy the person closer to you, so you do everything possible. And it's like, why wouldn't you treat the other person that did you bad like this? But I get it. So
Right.
it, that's where
So
that's
sometimes
why.
silence can be a good thing then, because you're de-escalating the situation. Then you
Exactly.
have a level of anger that we don't have. You know, they just do. You know, guys like
hmm
100 pounds more than you. Do you really want them to get mad? You really want to make them mad at you? No.
Or like right, and women try to say everything hurtful as possible. So it's like, do you really want to open a Pandora box? So I'd rather just stay silent and leave
Oh,
the
Frankie said
situation
he
as is.
watches us on the replay. Well, I am so grateful that you're here, Frankie. Yay! Welcome, because you have really helped to make the show wonderful. We appreciate all your questions. Everything you've said has been valuable. And I hope that we're doing a good job at answering that because now we're just getting into the whole anger thing. Um, so, yeah, so nobody wants to feel vulnerable, you know, and when
Right.
you
Yeah.
made yourself vulnerable, and so here's the thing that women do, we squirrel things away, and men squirrel things away too. You know,
Yes.
when then you fire it back at us, it's like, oh, well, how long you been sitting on those nuts there? How long you squirrel those away? You know, now you're just gonna just gonna start throwing them at us, you know. So it destroys the fabric of the relationship. But when you invoke the safe zone, the hardest thing to do within that safe zone is not to bring it up again. And it takes God to give you that level of patience. And I will say, even as a therapist, even as a professional, I'm going to say this, you do have to work at that. Everybody has a level of anger, emotions, and pride that they have to allow God to subdue. They do,
Right.
you know, and you're going to have to be willing to work through that. And that's what Jay is saying. And Jay, I don't want to speak for you. I want you to speak.
What's that? Hold on. Say that again.
No, I said everybody has a level of anger and emotions that they have to allow God to subdue and work through.
Right. Right. Okay. I thought you asked me a question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Right. I agree a
Frankie
hundred
asked a
percent.
question of you, were you raised men
Mhm.
don't cry? That's a good question, Frankie.
Yes.
Good one. And he said, yes. Oh, Frankie, we're getting somewhere.
Well, see, I'm the oldest, so and like
Okay.
I said, my father was in military, so vulnerabilities and crying, no, no, you and I'm not a crier or emotional person. So my emotions is never worn on my sleeves. I look to me, being vulnerable is a weakness to me, and it's kind of a everybody, to each is their own. I get it, but I just can't do it. I come from suck it up, move.
Oh,
Kind of like one of the situations. Move past it.
well, how do you move past it? How do you suck that up? I mean, because I mean, even I was, raised, you know, the girls could cry, but you're the oldest. So, my mom was more
Right.
like Mickey's trainer, and she gets mad when I say this. So, I had four siblings growing up in our household. So she said, so never wanted to cry alone. She said, so you never wanted to cry alone.
Oh wow.
Frankie, are you a therapist? She's like good at this. So
Right. No, no, cry alone. I go through emotions alone. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, pretty much. But I would never show them. I'll go through them mentally or whatever. But yeah, I'll go through it.
But do men cry alone? Is that their thing when they're hurting? You're taught this, and
Yeah,
okay.
pretty much.
You know,
Exactly. What's
when men
that?
when men are upset, I've often wondered because I've never I can only remember seeing my dad cry a couple of times. I've never seen my
Right.
biological father cry, but my stepdad, who's raised me since I was like 7, um, I can remember seeing him cry. You know, and my grandma was tough as nails. I know the first time I really saw her cry was when I left
Mm.
for Japan. And I was leaving, and it's so funny. I'm leaving for Japan. They're taking me to the airport. It doesn't dawn on me that I'm going to be so far away from home because I was so young when I left. And
Right.
when I saw tears come out of my grandma's eyes and I saw her cry, it broke me because I'm like, Grandma, because I'd never seen her cry. My mom cried all the
Mhm.
time. That's probably where I get it. She was emotional. My dad was like strong, silent type. I didn't see him. I only saw him cry once, and I think that was at our Nana's funeral.
Right.
And it wasn't a boo-hoo cry. It was just like tears coming out of his eyes. So I think that we gravitate toward people in some way that remind us of our parents in some way that resemble our moms and dads. They bear some characteristic. Um,
Yes.
and so the strong silent type, if you grew up with a dad that's like that, you're gonna be attracted to that. Even though if you thought, oh boy, dad never did this and that. Gee,
He never told me he loved me.
he
Yeah.
wants to know if you openly cry at funerals. What? That's a good question. You go, Frankie.
Well, I haven't lost anybody that'll make me want to cry yet. So
Not
not
she
not
means like
not gonna
open
worry. What's
displaying.
that?
She means like openly crying at a funeral.
Nah, I wouldn't be like boo-hooing and snotting and everything. Nah,
Oh.
nah, nah. Falling out like, oh no, no,
What?
no. I got a
Wow.
whole no
All right. Okay. Okay.
image is everything. Like you to think about it, right?
Yes,
If you
Frankie.
got a if you're dealing with a guy that just cry over everything, one point you're just gonna be like, this guy's a simp.
What's a sim?
Somebody that's simple, or just somebody that's willing, a highly emotional, reactional type guy, or
Beta male.
so
Is
what
that
is
what we call them
a
now?
beta male? Yes, a beta male.
Okay. So alpha males
Yes,
don't cry. I see. That's just so mean.
yes.
I think of so I don't know how I would react if I got married and you cried. You like say we got married and you cried in front of me. I don't know how I react to that. I think that to some degree it is healthy for a man to shed tears. But the question is it healthy for
No, when you cry, that is
his
not
wife?
a. That's it's not a nice look. And when somebody your face all tore up, and you know what I mean, it's like looking at somebody on the toilet. Like, no, you just
Well, I would
see
say you
me.
have to invoke the safe zone before you cry. Maybe that's what you. But
No, nobody want to see no dude doing all that. Like, I mean, I don't know. I come from the brawny age where guys were brawny men, and when you scrape your knees, the father like get up and go, keep playing. It's kind of one of those things. Like, so emotion on the sleeve. No, I don't have those.
wow, you got Frankie all fired up over here. Said Jay, but does not crying show you don't have empathy, or you just come across being a hard A.
I get that.
You said
I'm cool with that.
he said he's cool. Frankie going head to head with this now.
I,
He's saying
I
real men
respect that.
don't cry.
Right.
I
No,
don't
you're not.
as a
No.
therapist, I would say that crying is healthy. I do understand though the pride aspect of man and he may not want to be vulnerable in front of his woman. But I do think, however, that if my husband chose to cry in front of me, I would have to be okay with that because he's allowing me to see a side of him that he doesn't show. And I want to comfort him. I want to.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. And when it does happen, you know it has to be serious.
Oh, shh.
What's that?
I said it would be like, baby, it's okay, honey. Shh. It's okay, baby. No, it's all right. It's all right. Now don't you laugh at my soothing technique. What? Why are you gonna make fun of my soothing technique? Make all the other men out there feel like my soothing technique, my soothing technique game is weak.
Okay, but in that saying, if you're with somebody that doesn't cry, and when he does cry, then you know it's really serious. But if you have somebody that's crying over everything, you just don't.
If he's
What's
crying,
that?
okay, so if I'm with this man and he's crying and he's never cried before in front of me, I know it's serious. Am I then allowed to soothe him, or is soothing off the table?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, you know where to kick in at the beginning.
it's not like I'm
But
going to
if you get,
breastfeed him, but I mean, I am going to try to soothe him and make him
I
feel like
know that's what I'm saying. But you know it's serious then.
right,
But if
right.
you have a person that cries over everything, at one point you get numb to it, and you just be like, you know what I mean? Like you just look at that person like there will be never a situation that'll be serious after that if he's just always crying.
Right, right. Yeah, it's like you're carrying around an infant. I get it. And you have to, okay.
Here we go again. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Right.
goodness. What is it today? Ooh, man, damn, when do I get to say
Who
that?
picked the, yeah, who picked on you and who you know what I mean?
Right. Mean old man hurt my baby wrong stepping man. So
and
I
right, I think you no.
get it. I get it. I get why men don't want that.
Right. Here we go. But no, but the new age.
You on the phone with your girlfriend. Oh, he's getting ready to come home. Girl, let me call you back. I don't know what kind of mood he's going to be in. You know what? Breastfeeding could be optional today. I don't know. You know what?
No, that was 100. No, that just could never be me.
Right. Because she's telling her girlfriend.
Exactly right. So you have to again, like I said, you go into a situation like you going into a workplace.
She said,
You
you
have to
said
be
you're
able
a
to.
closet teddy bear, Jay.
Say that again.
She said, you
Still
said
breaking up.
you're a closet teddy bear.
So I can be, but it just
You
you just
can't.
gotta get through my layers.
This is
That's
layers.
what.
You got to get to the teddy bear in the closet. Yeah. As long as that closet door isn't open every single day, I guess that's probably. So, okay, mama made you a special plate of oatmeal raisin cookies, or you know what, baby, it's all right. Let me get you a compass or a thermometer. What do guys like when they cry? What do we like when we cry?
That's funny. I mean, not saying it's wrong to cry, but if you want to cry for all the dudes out there, then cry, cry. I'm just talking from my own point of view.
But just know all the dudes that cry like that out there, after a while.
Yo, there used to be a time you used to get laughed at for crying. Like,
Strange.
nah,
I mean, it is your party. You can cry if you want to, but do you want to cry every day? I mean, that's not
right.
a thing.
But if a woman's crying and a dude's crying, who's gonna be the stable one?
Somebody's crying. Who's managing the family? Somebody's got to take the helm, and it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to be a bit stoic, icy, because I think I was the oldest, and so I had to be responsible for my siblings. but I am very vulnerable and transparent in my relationships. I tend to be, I don't think someone I've dated would say, oh, yeah, she's just this he woman that just doesn't show any emotion. And I'd be like, not her. And Lord knows, don't let her be. I just don't, I can't see that. I can't see somebody saying that. I
Right.
think that our roles, men are taught to be strong. And they do have to be strong, but I do think they need a soft place to land when they need it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that he just has this super outburst of emotion all the time, but he should be able to trust his partner that when he lands there, she's got him. She's
Exactly.
not calling her girlfriends and
Laughing at him behind his back or throw it up later and
most
win the
horrible
argument.
thing you could ever. You might as well just pull divorce papers out when you do that and say, here, let's get divorced, because he's not going to forget it. He's not going to forgive it. And you will lose your place with him. I tend to think that I need to be a soft place to land for my partner, whatever that is. I don't tend to date the emotional ones that cry, but not that there's anything wrong with it. My dad wasn't like that, neither dad. So I don't know a man like that in my orbit. So I wouldn't necessarily, gravitate to that. However, if I was dating someone and they were emotional and they did cry, I would comfort that person, because that's not something that happens all the time. I would, if my person was going through depression, I would also want them to know or feel that it's okay. People get sad. People can be depressed. It's okay to be vulnerable.
No, it's not.
People do get sad, though.
To be on our game. I don't know. I come from that era that we always on our game. Like there's no such thing as depression.
Okay, hold that thought, because I got to say goodnight to my radio audience, and you have to
Oh,
say goodnight to them, because it's
and
that
good
time.
night, everybody. I appreciate it. I appreciate you tuning in.
We love you, and we need to say goodnight. Thank you from my heart to your home, my radio audience. Thank you and good night. Coming up now is Team Nathan. Enjoy the show. He is awesome. Good night. So we can continue. Our podcast can run over, but that cannot.
Okay.
We've got 4 more minutes, and we want to say, thank you, Frankie, for hanging with us. You've been the best
Appreciate you.
part of us. Yes, we love you and we appreciate you. You've been the best part of what's happening here. What's happening? Whoa. Something's
What's
happening all
that?
on its own. I don't know. It just started doing stuff. We appreciate you've been, our audience is the best part of our conversation. We want to say thank you for participating. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We hope you have learned some things. I certainly have learned, and JT has definitely brought his education game on the male species, particularly the male species Africanus. So we understand that, it is, in how you're raised, and it is how you're taught, and men are influenced by their environment, and that's okay. The strong man is necessary in a family unit, but I hope JT understands or have accepted that it is okay to be vulnerable in a relationship. It doesn't make you a simp. It doesn't make you weak. Everyone has emotions, and you should be able to trust that your partner is a soft place to land, no matter who you are. Every woman should bear in mind that the Bible says love bears all things. And if your husband's walking around like a commando, with PTSD, and he doesn't feel comfortable with you, it's because somewhere along the line, you have made him feel that he cannot trust what he has built with you. That is important. But by the same token, JT, I appreciate the fact that you said that the silent treatment is not necessarily that the relationship is over, destruction, it could be that we need to de-escalate some things.
Right.
And some men are angrier than others, and some men need time to cool down and process. And you don't nag them, you don't walk around behind them. What's wrong?
Tell me what's wrong with you. That irks a person worse.
Yeah,
Tell me, I know something wrong with you. What's in it? And it's like you just like let me calm down a little bit.
let me be, woman, let me be.
Right. But
Right.
some people want that status. No, we're gonna talk about this right now. Yeah, that's when the problem is.
Yeah. And so you've now escalated a situation that is trying to be de-escalated.
Right.
Sometimes because we are emotional, we tend to feel emotionally abandoned. And that's not okay. We do feel that. We do get upset. We do get angry, and it does hurt. So we have to learn, that everyone feels and processes things very differently. And it is never okay to allow someone to, take you off your square. You're emotional, you're dealing with someone who is not emotional. You're going to have to, no matter what part of the discussion you're in, you're going to have to de-escalate. You're going to have to, if that person shuts you out, let them shut you out. Let them stay out. Let them go. By the same token, when they've cooled down and processed, you have to allow yourself to be forgiving enough to allow them to say their piece when they're ready.
Right.
Men don't process their emotions the way we do. We're on go. We're ready to talk about emotions. Emotions is our thing, especially if you are emotional. Now, at some point in a relationship, that person has to understand that de-escalation can't take 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 weeks. And you might come back and that person is just not there anymore because they're emotional. When you starve a person emotionally, there's going to be a response to that. So you might need a week or two, 3 at most. But if it goes beyond
3, like really? No, I just said a couple of hours. Like, if you're thinking that long, something's really wrong.
Yeah, something is definitely, you're not processing emotion.
Like 3 weeks.
And if you're in a dating situation and somebody's checking out like that,
you might as well just leave that alone.
Yeah, because the relationship's not going to grow if the person keeps checking out. It doesn't build trust. It doesn't make the person feel confident that you can be in this relationship. You got to, you're saying, I can't handle this. This relationship's too much. I can't process this as a man. And so, the woman at that point has a responsibility. You're going to stay and keep dealing with this, or you're going to leave it alone because this is not your person. This person is now saying, I'm not for you because I can't be in this with you. I can't make you feel safe. It makes somebody feel safe, and the relationship feels untrustworthy when the person keeps checking out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's not healthy. You got to be in it with the person for it to remain a relationship. So you don't get to check out like that. Day or two, maybe a week, but like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
If you mad for a week, I don't understand nothing. Unless it was some infidelity, why would you be mad for a week for your partner?
Some people are not able to.
I know some people. That to me, that's what I'm saying. Like you shouldn't. Yeah. If it's doing that, that's way too much. You might as well not even be in the situation with them.
Right? Yeah. Why are you in the relationship?
Yeah.
You're just ghosting people. You're not
just for a whole week.
Healthy enough to stay in this. Like that's gonna make the person feel like, all right.
Yeah, you're not in this with me.
No, because you're not.
Right.
What are you doing? You want the comfort of a relationship without actually being in the relationship, without the responsibility. So you're not ready for a relationship. And that's real talk. That's real truth. That is transformative truth. So you need to think, if I'm not ready for a relationship, maybe I need to just go and not do this because this person is not getting a healthy version of me. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
So you're saying, Jay, that you strong, silent type people don't go months and weeks and stuff without talking to people?
Nah, if I gotta go months and no, you don't do that to your partner, your best friend. Like that's no, that's not a way to person. That's not a way of treating a person. When I say silent treatment, it may be for a couple of hours at the most. Like not if I'm that mad at you, then something is really wrong. That I'll just cut you off for weeks.
Wow, that's
Nah.
good to know. That's good to know because I've heard people say, I walk around for weeks not speaking to my partner. Like, what? And they take it?
Oh,
Oh, come home, find your bags on.
yeah, you can't be you talk you communicate, but you're not. You know what I mean? But I get it.
And these are
But
habits
no,
that have to be corrected in the dating process. And if they can't be, then you don't proceed and marry this person when they have habits
exactly.
like that. That's not, they can't be in a relationship with you if they're checking out like that. That's a long time to check out somebody that you just dating or you just married and you I'm like, no. Mm-mm. And you ask people, were there signs of that? No, he just got like that. He did not just get like that. That is
Yeah,
not what happened.
they,
Not what happened.
right.
You showed signs of being special.
Hmm.
You have to know that you can handle that or not. Well, all right, Jay, you want to give us our final thoughts?
Um, Final thoughts. If you love somebody, you ride with them through thick and thin. If you don't love them, let them go so they can win.
All right, I like that. All right, Jay.
Oh,
Okay.
the freestyle. No, stop.
No, he done laid it on down, people. All right. That's why you write scripts and stuff, because you just think it, you just come up with this. It's good stuff. All right, people, that's all the time we have for the day. Thank you, Frankie, for riding with me and Jay. We want to say from my heart to your home, thank you and God bless you. And if no one has told you they loved you, I do. Have a good night. God bless you. And remember, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. It's all about love, navigating life with you, building in happiness and sharing those dreams for two. Heart to heart things that need to be. You get me, I get you. Being as one and it's just us two. Sharing special moment in the light we shine. And I'm glad you're mine. I have an idea. Let's sit back and listen to Dr. Gia.